The global version of Phantom Parade is a mess. We all know it by now. They want to fast forward the game, sync it with the Japanese version, and the decisions they're making are absurd because they are trying to fast forward so many featured SSR units, release so many featured banners together, without compensating players for the speedrun, without helping us keep up with the pace, the crazy pace that the game is currently on. They might say they care for player feedback and they are listening to it, but they either do not understand what is happening or they simply do not care. Either way, we cannot just pull for characters or keep up with the pace of the banners with just promises that they are listening to feedback. We do need to actually get compensation, rewards, gifts, or whatever you want to call it to actually pull for some characters. I understand that they want to catch up to the Japanese version, and this might be the correct call at the end of the day, but this is 100% the wrong way of going about it. If they don't really value their characters and they are releasing 5 featured SSR banners at once, then just put all of these characters immediately on the standard banner from release. Anyway, it's not even just the characters, it's events as well and other stuff, but I definitely had to talk about this real quick, and now we can talk about the tier list you see on your screen. In the bottom tier we have all of the upcoming SSR characters, and then the top tier is the 100% worth it tier where all of the best characters will be placed there. These are the characters that are extremely strong, the best in the game for the Japanese version, and you won't regret pulling for. Then we have the good options, definitely strong characters, maybe not as strong as the top tier ones, but you would still not regret getting any of these characters and they can definitely help your account. Then we have the OK tier for characters that are still good on paper, but if we also consider that all of these characters will be coming out close to each other, then I simply think that you can either have better options in your collection or better options of banners to spend your cubes on. And to be honest, I thought about merging the OK and skip tier, but I also wanted to make the distinction between characters that are still OK in-game, maybe even help your account if it's your favorite character and you really want to go for them. But for the skip tier, you should 100% skip these characters because your cubes will be better invested for the tiers above, especially the 2 top ones. Let's start things off though with Red Kugisaki. She will be the second SSR Kugisaki in the game after the standard one. They actually both have similar mechanics with the nail count and stuff like that, but to be honest, she's an easy skip. Unfortunately for her, she's red, and that type now has Yuta, it will have Toji, it will have Domain Gojo, and I do not really think you should be pulling for this Kugisaki. Yes, in mono red teams I guess she can help, but I think in that case Red Yuji will be much more helpful. Then we have SSR Mekamaru, another easy skip. He can be useful, or at least more useful for break damage than the current blue Megumi we have in global, but he is still centered around break damage, which is not the best thing to be centered around. Blue Todo is in the skip tier as well, and then we have Blue Yuji, who will actually go into the OK tier for a couple of reasons. This character is trying to be a debuffer / secondary DPS, and he will 100% be usable, even very nice to fit into specific formations. But number 1, there are better debuffing options out there, and number 2, I'm not the biggest fan of the main protagonist right now having a debuffing unit, simply because we know he will get some main DPS units in the future. So if you invest into a Yuji debuffing unit, then you can't combine him with a Yuji main DPS unit you are going to get in the future. Yes, they can be used in different formations, but imagine that now Gojo gets a healer. That healer, even if it is an extremely good one, cannot be combined with Gojo main DPS units, which is an obvious disadvantage. This Yuji will 100% be usable. I think they're just simply better characters to invest your cubes into. Next we have SSR Mahito, and if I am not mistaken, he will be for free available just like Jogo and Hanami are right now. so he goes to the skip tier. Next we have Red Panda. This is a tank unit. It is a similar version with the current SSR Panda we have, a bit better though as a tank overall, one of a different type as well, but it is an easy skip. In my opinion, tanks are not the best class to invest cubes into, especially in featured SSR banners. So if you are to spend on a tank and invest your cubes during the speedrun, I would not go for Panda. Even though it is definitely a usable unit, there are two that are simply better to invest your cubes into. Yellow Nanami is up next. He will be able to deal combined damage, and he is also a DPS type unit. The interesting thing about him is that he can actually gain type advantage over colors, which is awesome and can be very useful for versatility as well. He definitely goes into the good tier, and especially if you're a big Nanami fan, this is the best Nanami unit to spend cubes for. Next up we have Teen Gojo, Teen Geto and Toji. I will group them together because they are all 100% worth. They would be the half anniversary units with a normal schedule. That's what happened in the Japanese version. It won't happen now, obviously, but they are coming out very close to each other and they are all very strong. Teen Gojo will easily become the best yellow DPS in the game, maybe even the best DPS in the game, period. He's very strong and his damage output can be crazy good. He will also become the first Gojo unit that does not leave the field after 7 turns or after ultimate activation. He does not leave, and that's why this Gojo is also more interesting to me than the other Gojo units. I really like this character. Teen Geto will become one of the best debuffers in the game. He is essentially kind of a better version of the movie Zero Geto. They are different types of course, but if I was to choose between the two, I would definitely pick this one, the teen version. And if you're interested, yes, he can also work with Gojo. Toji will become the best physical technique damage dealer in the entire game. Alongside Yuta, they will be the two best red attackers, of course. So he's 100% worth as well. He is a very strong unit. And after them, we have Miwa and Saki, that are the two tanks that are better than Panda, essentially, and I was talking about before. Both good units, the best tanks in the game, in the Japanese version, and they can also both deal out damage. In my opinion, I will place Miwa in the good tier, and I will place Saki in the okay tier. Reason being, I think Miwa is easier to use and I like her mechanics more because she wants to be attacked and then counter attack, while Saki wants to be attacked, she can sacrifice her HP as well, and she wants to be as low on HP as possible to deal out more damage. And I'm not the biggest fan of HP manipulation stuff and requirements to be low in order to do more damage. That is one of the main reasons. I will have Saki one tier under, but she can definitely be in the good tier as well, like the difference is not that big. Whoever you get here is fine. The big problem is that they will most likely come after Teen Gojo, Geto and Toji, and that's a huge issue. No one will have cubes for them anyway, so that's gonna be a problem. Or if the order is changed once again and they release before Teen Gojo, Geto and Toji, you probably just have to save for these three because they are very strong units, so they are in a weird situation no matter what. Next up we have SSR Yaga, and this is a great character. It is a very good support, one of the best in the game, alongside his SR version and SSR Momo. The thing is that this is still Yaga, so both SR and SSR Yaga are very good. But the big problem that arises with investing in this one is that you cannot use him with the SR version, that a lot of people obviously have spent resources into. This Yaga is still awesome, can boost general damage as well, but if you do not have SSR Momo to pair him up with, then you lose out on the ability to use SR Yaga. So I would not really go for this one if I do not have SSR Momo. Great character, great supportive character as well, one of the best in the game, but I will place him in the OK tier just because of that. The next two characters I will both place in the OK tier, Blue Nanami and Green Maki, both usable DPS characters. combined damage coming from Nanami, physical technique damage coming from Maki, but I just think we have better options, even though this Maki is definitely better than the standard SSR version we currently have in Global. Her sister, Mai, is an interesting debuffer. She can also help us increase our damage for both types, so she's definitely in the good tier. Something that she has over Blue Yuji, for example, is that she can help while being Mai, and Mai does not have a lot of great characters in the game, unlike Yuji, who for example just has a great character soon to come in this tier list. So as a debuffer, Mai can definitely be a better option, character-wise at least. And then we have an even better debuffer slash buffer character, Blue Inumaki, who is great, can help boosting damage for both curse technique and physical technique damage. He's great, he can also deal out damage himself, so he can work as a secondary DPS too. From his ultimate he can dish out damage to all enemies, and on top of that, for 4 turns he increases the enemy damage received for both types of damage, which is simply amazing. He can also help restore his own ultimate skill gauge with one of his skills. He does have the classic Inumaki sacrificing HP mechanic, but his passive helps a lot with that, so his survivability is okay. I can definitely see this character being in the top tier. I am just going to limit that tier to 5 characters, but he's definitely worth considering depending on the timetable he comes out. I'm a big fan of this unit. Next up, we have Green DPS Kugisaki and Green DPS Megumi. These are the 2 best versions of these characters as damage dealers. Kugisaki is awesome. Megumi might have higher damage potential, but is a bit trickier to use, with both his white and black dogs playing into his mechanics. Megumi is also more focused on curse technique damage, while Kugisaki does combined damage. She still does have the nail count mechanic though, keep that in mind. They are both good characters, that is for certain, but I cannot place them higher. And now we have the first anniversary unit for the Japanese version of the game. First we have a debuffer in Yuki. He's definitely in the good tier, but he does focus on curse technique damage boosting, just like his rare version we currently have in the game. That's why I'm not gonna place him higher. He's great though. And of course we have 2 more units, both 100% worth it. Domain Gojo is the best character in the game. He's a debuffer, a damage dealer, he's a beast. He can do everything. He's a very strong character to have, so he is obviously 100% worth. And then when Yuji releases, I think he will become the best physical technique damage dealer in the game, overtaking Toji. They are different, though they deal out damage in different ways. They don't have the same utility and stuff like that. They are also obviously different types. Toji can also remove a buff from the enemy and deal damage to all enemies, something that Yuji cannot do. So it's not like having one cancels out the other. But with Teen Gojo and Yuji, maybe if you pulled for Teen Gojo and all of these characters come out in a matter of months, you have to take that into consideration. You have a very good yellow DPS already. If not enough compensation and rewards are given out to players, you simply cannot really afford to go for the same type of a DPS. You might just prefer going for something different like a debuffer or another type DPS that you are missing for tower. That can be huge help. So if you do go for Teen Gojo, then you would be more reluctant of pulling for this yellow Yuji. I can definitely understand that. And this counts for a lot of these characters. It's not like the characters that are in the OK tier are horrible and you should not even consider them, but with the circumstances we are in right now, with the global version of the game, if the developers do not wake up, we don't really have a choice on if we are going to pull for everyone or not, because we don't have enough cubes. It is simple as that. And it is not worth to spend money on this game with how they are treating players. It is definitely crazy that we have to discuss on if a character that is supposed to release on the game's first anniversary is 100% worth to save for on not even 2 months into the game's life cycle. It's absolutely insane. But because we have not been informed of how the schedule will exactly take place, I have to talk about every character the Japanese version currently has. Hopefully though, we do have enough of a gap between Teen Gojo, Geto and Toji and the first anniversary units, and everyone else gets released in a more reasonable pace and we don't have 5 featured SSR banners in the matter of 2 weeks. But with how things are going, I cannot make any promises. Hence why I am making this video to let everyone know of the best characters that you can go for. I did not analyze every character's abilities and stuff like that simply because the video would be forever. I just gave a basic description on everyone and we are going to discuss more about them when they get officially announced. But that's it for this tier list. Hopefully you enjoyed it and it helped you out, and if you did, leave a like, I would really appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.